the car.
Despite being very close to the incident, the officers failed to respond. It's 3.5 minutes before another unit answers the call from the police control room.
I mean, this is one of the clearest examples you could see of dereliction of duty by a police officer. And astonishing that, you know, they don't know the seriousness of the offence. That woman could be being dragged down an alleyway, being raped, seriously injured, and yet he's quite prepared just to turn his back on it and drive on. And it seems an appalling piece of behaviour, not one that we expect from our police force.
Later in her time with the police, the driver of that patrol car admits to Nina that during the last World Cup, he and his colleague put catching a game of football before his duty to the public.
Come basically fly over, past the matches on your left, and there's this geezer, it must have been about 5 in the morning, and this geezer was crouching down on the floor, and he had blood pouring out of his fucking wrist. I said, you see that man over there? He goes, what man? He says, that man over there, that fucking injury to his arm, he's sort of crouching down, he looks like he's about to pass out. He goes, no, you didn't see him. Fucking
that sounds like...
We're going in.
It just makes my stomach churn. How can you say you are a police officer who has to look after members of the public? That is your job. That to protect life and property is a priority of a police officer, and you then laugh and boast how you drove by somebody. He actually says he looked like he was about to pass out. He might have died. He didn't care as long as he watched his football match. That, to me, he doesn't deserve to wear a uniform and say that he's protecting life and property. Not at all.
That wasn't the only time our undercover reporter saw officers putting themselves before the public. On this occasion, Nina and her crewmate had just returned to the station to eat, known in the police jargon as mealing. A Grade 1 job is an incident requiring immediate attention, such as a 999 call.
I'd said earlier that we were the only car that was out and about now, and he said, well, we won't be because we're going in for a meal. So a Grade 1 job came out, so I quickly got my stuff together, went into the canteen and said,
Are we going to this? Are we going to this?
No. Good back meal, mate.
So I went back into PC and said, he's refused to go with me, and at which point she got called to another job because she got the van.
He won't go out with me because he's not turning out because he's mealing. So do you want me to come with you? Yeah, I'll get him to go. I'll go.
3 other officers were mealing at the same time. They all stood up and said, we're going.
You got, yeah.
PC stayed in the canteen all the time. He didn't make any attempt to move.
19, I'll go, yeah. Do you want me to go? It used to be that you had pride in your job, and it's that's missing. I was so proud to be a police officer from the day that I joined to the day that I left. These people aren't proud to be police officers. They're doing it so that they can say, I'm a police officer, I'm cool, and that, to me, is the only reason, and he proves that.
Nina's disappointed to have uncovered poorly performing and demotivated officers. She's been appalled by the action of 2 officers in her shift of around 16 who have failed to respond to emergency calls. Coming up, as the government introduced wholesale police reform in an effort to drive up standards, Nina uncovers just how officers are reacting to the changes.
Does that defeat the objective of what the government want you to do then?
Right. But I think it's self-defeating anyway. It demotivates 90% of the staff.
The amount of paperwork. You hear this nonsense about cutting paperwork. It's definitely...
I know.
Undercover reporter PC Nina Hobson filmed the Leicestershire Police for 4 months. She uncovered poorly motivated, sometimes lazy officers and witnessed dereliction of duty.
We don't want to attend to them.
The government has introduced targets and performance-related pay in a drive to improve standards.
Most of the police officers hate the targets. They feel that they're doing things differently now purely to make the government happy, purely for the Chief Constable of Leicestershire to put the right figures into the Home Office.
Everyone seems obsessed with targets, though. That seems to be the buzzword.
It's the government thing at the moment, isn't it?
I don't really understand it, and that's probably because...
The only thing that you're actually assessed on, or one of the key performance indicators, is your detection rate and your prisoner rate. So how many prisoners have you got and how many detections have you got?
Targets include the number of arrests and detections or crimes an officer has cleared up. The government hopes that the measures will drive down crime. In Leicestershire, these figures play a big part in grading each officer on a scale of 1 to 3. Those officers in Group 1 are eligible for a bonus of up to £2,000.
Yeah.
But if you want my honest opinion, I would never ever go for a 1. Because it ain't, I think it's so divisive and so, people get so wound. Why are they better than me? You know, just because they've done this, I've done this. Very, very subjective.
Yeah.
So, my view has been, I won't go for the money. And if I went for the money, I'd share it with the shift.
Right.
That's what one of our shifts that I went on, that's what they did. They picked someone, right, well, we'll put everything through you, we'll put everything through that person, and then they shared the money out.
Wow.
I thought that was much better, that's teamwork.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, if you can agree on that, then that's fine.
Does that defeat the objective of what the government want you to do then?
But I think it's self-defeating anyway. It demotivates 90% of the staffing. I don't think it motivates those that are exceptional anyway. Those that are exceptional, they know they're exceptional and everybody knows they're exceptional as well. You know the person who's going out getting their prisoners, always enthusiastic and things like that. And they say, well, that rewards them. To what end? I'm not sure what end.
The inspector is talking about the premium which is increasingly attached, as Nina discovered to her horror, to not how well you do your job. It's down to how many numbers you can generate in terms of the numbers of arrests you'll make that result in a detection which the force as a whole can then claim in the figures that it sends back to the Home Office. Because that's what's driving everything. It's the numbers that count, not how well you do your job.
For me personally, I considered myself to be a good police officer. The jobs that I did to the best of my ability, and the victim or the public was always my number one priority. For example, I was a rape officer, so I could spend a week with a rape victim, which takes me away from being able to achieve my targets. I could then be taken into the office and told, well, you haven't reached your targets. Forget the fact you've been dealing with a rape victim or a child who's been abused. You haven't reached your target. You haven't reached your detection rate. Well, you can't run the police force like that.
The targets are being used as a way of trying to motivate the rest by saying, if you give us the right numbers, we'll give you more money. So the cynics are just saying, well, okay, if that's a way of earning more money, we'll find ways of giving them the numbers. And we still don't need to do anything because nobody's really supervising us.
As Nina and 2 colleagues complete paperwork in the station, she learns exactly how to create the right numbers.
Yeah.
Go into a shop and they all select chewing gum.
Yeah.
They all leave the store with chewing gum.
Yeah.
And brought back to the store. They all said that they do it themselves. They're passing between them, but they do it themselves. It's their own decision to do. Full crime plots. 4 offences of death.
Would you?
One agreed.
I would do these days to get your protections because that's 4.
Because it used to be, that'd be because they're all doing it.
Joint effort, but what they're doing now is detection and sanctions protections is the name of the game. Detections are the name of the game, so if we're going to play it like that and people are saying they've acted independently, then if we're going to play the numbers rule, then